defend it. They lost to the number 8 seed, the Miami Heat, 93-88. Miami had never won in this building. Miami had never won a playoff game. Atlanta felt very confident in that game when they started. Got out to a very big start with 31 points in the first quarter. However, the Heat came and stole the game and the home court advantage. And Doug Collins, the big news of that game is the Hawks losing even more than the Miami Heat winning. As you've had a couple of days to analyze it, what's your thinking about what Atlanta did wrong and what they must do right in that game?
Well, first of all, I think they got off to a great start, which is very important. Then they went sort of flat in the second quarter. But as I looked at it, shot attempts really jumped out at me. Their top 3 scorers, when you look at their field goal attempts, 13 for Manning in 32 minutes, Willis 13 and 40, Augman only 7 and 32, 33 shots for their leading scorers. Then you go down to Elo, Blaylock, and Contact. They get 42 shots. The team took 84. They took 14 threes. So most of the shots came from the perimeter. They went to a small lineup. They've got to, if they're not going to shoot well, they've got to get on the boards.
Okay, now let's talk about the Miami Heat. Miami, as I said, had never won a playoff game. They came in and played very well in that game. Particularly, they got a great game from Bimbo Coles. They must be feeling very good. They stole a game in a place they've never won.
Well, I tell you, if I'm Kevin Lockery, I get the tape of the Orlando, Indiana finish and say, hey, guys, Indiana got greedy. They wanted to get 2 wins. Getting 1 win was nice. You have to wonder how they're going to react to that. That was their first playoff victory, as you said. Do they get a little comfortable with it? Hey, we got the home court. We're going to go home. I think they need to put intense pressure on Atlanta in this first quarter. Maybe make this crowd turn against Atlanta, because we heard how it went the other night when they did not play well.
Now, you and I have done 3 games in 3 nights. In game 1, Doug said in this game, Bimbo Coles would be the X factor in Atlanta. Last night in New York, you said it'd be Chris Morris. How about tonight? Who is the X factor?
Mookie Blaylock, and I tell you why. It's because Bimbo Coles came in and played a great game, and Mookie's got to make some shots. He's got to get him some leadership, but also he and Augman have got to get up and pressure the basketball, get some turnovers. That's when they're at their best, when they can get out and run and get some easy scores.
Only about 10,000 plus here on Thursday night. Tonight, the Omni in Atlanta is a sellout that should help the cause of the home team. Doug and I will be back here in just a moment, right after this. Tonight, Rice and Manning.
Well, I think that Danny Manning's going to have to post up a little bit more tonight. I think that he's going to have to be able to use that little jump hook on Rice rather than have to chase Rice around all the screens, make him play him in the post. And they've got to find a way to get Kevin Willis some more shots. 13 shots in 40 minutes. I really believe that he and Manning have got to get 20 shots apiece tonight. Not live so much on that perimeter. Have a little more patience, make the extra pass.
And, of course, you see Shaw and Blaylock. Shaw only played 20 minutes the other night. Bimbo Coles will be a key man at point guard. The coaches for tonight's game, Kevin Lockery, the coach of the Heat, who's been under his own heat down in Miami as this team struggled toward the end of the season. This team got their first playoff win in franchise history. Kevin Lockery did a great job getting that team prepared. See how he does here tonight. Former Atlanta Hawks head coach and former Atlanta Hawks assistant. And here's Lenny Wilkens, a former Atlanta, actually a former St. Louis Hawk player. And Lenny Wilkens is only 9 and 13 in game 2s in 20-off playoff series 22, and that's not necessarily good news. We said at game 1, Doug Collins, the spotlight of pressure on Danny Manning. Likewise, that'll be the case again tonight. He and Glenn Rice will be the story.
This should be a very emotional first quarter for Atlanta. They can't come out and just be very casual. They got to be emotional. They got to throw their bodies around, and when they go to the bench, the guys got to come in and give that same kind of effort. There cannot be a drop-off.
You see the list of officials there as Brian Shaw runs down the opening tip. Ed T. Rush, David Jones, and Ron Garrettson will call tonight's ball game. Mookie Blaylock, near steal. Shaw makes him pay by driving, missing. Rebound, Steve Smith, blocked, and the foul. Steve Smith, who was the player of the game in game 1, will go to the free throw line. And speaking of game 1, here's what happened.
Well, you see, we talked about it. We know it was the first ever win, their first ever win at the Omni, but at the end of the game, the 13-3 run showed a lot of poise for a young team on the road. And Atlanta shot a little bit like San Antonio did today in their 17-minute stretch when they missed 25 straight shots today. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Truly amazing. Neither had John Lucas. Stacey Augman picked up that personal for Atlanta. Steve Smith, an excellent free throw shooter, misses the free throw. Steve played like the leader of this team that he is. You know, he'll be on the dream team too. He had 22 points, 2 out of 3 on threes. in that game and was the man.
Well, he hit the big three when Willis missed the layup and they came down, had a chance to go up 3. He hits the 3 and pushes them up 2. That really turned the tide in Miami's favor.
Heat 1-0. First 30 seconds of this ball game from the Omni in Atlanta. Atlanta down 1-0. Blaylock looking for the jumper. Not this time. Rebound Rice. Glenn Rice left alone. The last man you want to leave alone, and as he did in game 1, he was in position for the 3, stepped on the line and gets the deuce.
See, Danny Manning is not used to playing this kind of player, so his reaction is to run back into the paint. He's got to run back to the 3-point line and start looking for Glenn Rice. You don't want to give him those kind of opportunities.
Danny Manning hits his opening shot.
Well, that's a great sign right now. You've got Danny Manning now into the flow. Looked very comfortable shooting that shot, and again, it was sort of a mid-post kind of play, playing with his back to the basket.
Bullet pass inside. Steve Smith, contact, playing him in there. 10 to shoot. Steve Smith will shoot it over the 7-footer. Contact, rebound Blaylock. Pass into Stacey Augmon. Nice dish. Kevin Willis missed the lay-in. Willis offensive board. Not this time. Kevin missed a very big layup toward the end of number 1 game, and now the Hawks have taken the lead 4-3.
Well, Atlanta's taken 4 shots, and 3 of them now are already by Willis and Manning. Good sign.
Brian Shaw into John Sally. He had an excellent game 1 also. Sally with the short jumper.
See, they got 11 field goals out of 22 shots from their centers the other night. 6 for 11 for Sally, 5 for 11 Cycler. That's great production.
John Concack gives up the open shot to Stacey Augmon, who banks in the jumper from 14. 6-5 Atlanta.
Well, they say in golf, they don't say how, they say how many, right?
Concack and Sally battling at the free throw line. Sally quick to the hole. Wave off the basket.
See, Sally's a real tough matchup for Concack because he can square you up. You have to respect his outside jump shot, and then he has the quickness to put it on the floor for a couple dribbles and beat you to the basket. So Concack's got to force him to that left hand. You know, so many times, Bob, I talk about knowing strength and weaknesses, and, you know, John Sally's a right-hand player that's going to go to his right about 85% of the time.
Concack's first personal foul. Grant Long.
Oh, wow. What a quick move that was.
He just split the Atlanta defenders for the lay-in. He lead it by 1.
Well, if I'm Kevin Lockery, I like what I've seen right now in my team. I'm balanced. I got Steve Smith off. I've got Long. Got Glenn Rice hitting a 3, so they've got everybody into the flow of the game.
That was Brian Shaw's first personal as the Heat lead at 7-6. Brian Shaw came from the Boston Celtics. His playoff experience came when he was with the Celtics when the Celtics were in the playoffs. Danny Manning from 19 feet. Danny has 4.
No hesitation at all on that shot either. He looked relaxed. He looked comfortable. Shot it in rhythm. And when you do that, you're going to get a lot of good results.
Steve Smith, who had a bloody nose, they thought it was broken. It is not. He is playing with a sore nose, however. Brian Shaw misses the 3. Steve Smith almost stole the tip-in. Grant Long could not save it. Atlanta ball leading by 1.
Those are the hustle plays that you have to make. Atlanta going for the loose ball. Grant Long was beaten there just ever so slightly by Danny Manning. You're going to see Manning on top of the floor right now, so look for him to create against Rice. Either go one-on-one or look to be a passer.
Danny Manning running the offense. Tipped out of bounds by Sally. 11 on the shot clock. Atlanta ball.
If Danny Manning has one little thing that I think that he's going to have to really correct here in Atlanta is sometimes he tries to make a pass that's not there. One of those fine line passes, he's got to have to cut his turnovers down. His assist-turnover ratio's got to get better. It's about 1-to-1 right now with the Atlanta Hawks.
Screen and roll. Contact. Missing the jumper. Steve Smith is fouled by Mookie Blaylock.
Remember now, Concack got off the other night. He had 5 of his first 7 shots. He had 11 points in the first quarter. Missed 3 shots in the second quarter. He was 5 for 10 and a half, played 3 minutes in the third period, and then did not play the rest of the game when Lenny Wilkins decided to go with a small team.
8:16 to go, quarter number 1. Atlanta by 1. Glenn Rice left alone again. Not this time. Rebound Willis. It's taken away from Willis, but lost out of bounds. Atlanta ball.
Boy, Glenn Rice got an awfully good look at it that time. I think there must have been a mix-up defensively. Danny Manning came off at was hit by a double screen. Someone's got to show up big there.
Danny Manning, who is 2 for 2 from the floor. Make it 3 out of 3 for Danny Manning. Danny Manning in game number 1 was 4 of 13 for only 10 points.
Well, he's taken 3 shots. We've played less than 5 minutes. Kevin Willis has taken 2, so 5 attempts for these guys. The other night they took 26 in 40 and 32 minutes.
Contact, intercepted the lob attempt to Sally. Bounced to Willis, can't handle it from Ogman. Ill-advised pass.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob, when you get that steal, keep your dribble alive. He could not have done anything with that pass. He give up the dunk on the other end.
Sally missed the dunk. Oh, he'll hear about that. Steve Smith with the near steal attempt, and Mookie Blaylock said to contact, let me know when he's coming from behind.
Isn't it amazing, though, when you play in a basketball game that, if someone's running in behind your teammate, you'd start screaming. I mean, no one said anything to Mookie Blaylock. Contact's got to be aware of that on the floor and let the guy know.
Mookie told him just that. 10 to shoot for Atlanta. Manning 3 out of 3. He's going to take it hard to hoop this time. The bank shot didn't fall. First miss of the night for Danny Manning. 10-7 Atlanta. 7 minutes to go. First quarter. Lob attempt into Rice. Can't handle it. Grant Long. Crowd calling for a walk, but Sally will get it in the hands of a guard. Well, he goes to Grant Long.
They're looking to post up Steve Smith. They can't get him the ball.
Now a guard handles it.
Oh, that's the second foul on
Mookie Blaylock early in the game.
That really hurts them right now.
Mookie Blaylock upset, slams his towel to the floor. I think he's upset with his teammates.
The screen will stop it right there. John Sally's back here. He's got to show up, and you're going to see what happens. He lays behind the screen. Rice gets picked. And Danny Manning just shoots the little shots that you shoot in your backyard. When you're making a guy work for all of his points, you don't want to give him any easy shots like that, especially that he's hit 2 in a row.
There you see, in game 1, when Danny Manning was playing, the Hawks had a +6 differential when he was on the bench, -11. And Danny, of course, is now famous here in Atlanta, or infamous. Missed the last minute and change of that ball game, set on the bench. Everybody wanting to know from Lenny Wilkins why.
Yeah, I still don't know why. I heard Lenny talking about it. He said he wanted to get Pharrell in the game. He thought he could take the ball to the basket, but I still think if Danny Manning is your guy, you've got to go to him even if he's struggling, because what happens in that instance, you don't want a player losing confidence, and I think if Lenny had it to do over, he'd probably have Danny Manning on the floor.
Enos Watley is in for Mookie Blaylock on the bench with 2 personal fouls. As Doug told you, 5 minutes, 2 points for Enos Watley in game number 1. Enos Watley, a well-traveled veteran. If you look at Brian Shaw, who did not score in game number 1. He has a couple of free throws here tonight.
See, this really hurts now, because what they're going to do with Mookie out of the game, look what they're going to come up and pressure and force someone else to handle the basketball, and they're going to cause a turnover here.
Like Kevin Willis.
See, that's what you want to do. That's good coaching right there. And what is he going to do? He's going to bring in Elo, because he's got to get another ball handler on the floor. Question is, who's he come in for?
We don't know yet. Stacey Ogman is the answer. Nope. They're going to put him in for contact. So it's Willis, Ogman, Elo, Manning, and Watley.
So what happens? Mookie gets in foul trouble, and now you go to a small lineup because you need more ball handling. That's why Mookie Blaylock was my X factor, because you have to have him on the floor.
Elo, who needs to get his jumper, that was way off, has a sore back. It has bothered his jump shot, and he's playing with pain. It is just not the same Craig Elo as during the regular season. Stick back by Glenn Rice. It's tied at 10.
See, Bob, the one thing with Craig Elo, and I used to try to encourage my guys to do this, when you come off the bench cold, get you a couple touches before you shoot the ball, especially when you're struggling. Maybe you get a layup.
Kevin Willis looking for that jump hook. It's way out of his range. Off Sally. It'll be Atlanta ball with 4 seconds to shoot.
As people watch the playoffs on TNT and TBS, one thing I'd like to really look for to watch is how big guys are being taken out of the games.
Like Shaquille O'Neal today.
And what happens is it puts pressure on your perimeter people allowed to make shots and create opportunities. There's Manning now with the ball in the post, because you're going to double team the post players, and they're going to put pressure on players to make outside shots. The other night, Atlanta 2 for 14 from the perimeter. I mean, Orlando loses that game today making 11 3-point shots.
Glenn Rice with the personal foul as Danny Manning goes to the line. The game is tied at 10. 6 minutes to go, quarter number 1. Manning has not shot his free throws well.
You know, I don't think it's a technical thing with him. I've watched so many times he's shooting under 70%. He's got good rotation, good follow through. I have to think it comes down to just, he's got to think it's going to go in. I think it's a confidence factor.
Grant Long handling the ball. Inside to Steve Smith. Bounce pass Sally. Kevin Willis, excellent defense. 10 to shoot. Grant Long. He gets in. The Hawks defense disappeared. Remember, the Hawks playing with a small lineup. They could be very vulnerable inside during this period of the game. Watley misses the lay-in. Willis follows. Hawks by 1.
Bob, I think that's an excellent observation. When you go small, you got to have 5 guys rebound the basketball. You got Long, Sally, Rice, and Smith, all guys 6'7", 6'8", to 7 feet. So they've got a big lineup.
Sally spinning inside, goes to the left hand. The tip in from Steve Smith. There's another example.
Lenny's got to be very careful going this small lineup.
Well, I'll tell you, the small lineup, which he used several times toward the end of the year, did not work well for the Atlanta Hawks. Steve Smith at guard, 5 rebounds already. Kevin Willis has that perimeter shot.
The big guys who score now, big time in this league, have that ability to step out. You think of David Robinson stepping out on the floor. You think of Elijah Wan. You think of a Kevin Willis here. You think of a Patrick Ewing. You've got to be able to shoot if you're a big man.
Nobody stopped Steve Smith. He missed the layup, though. Now, Hawks have the numbers. Watley all the way. Finger roll goes in. Atlanta 17-14. That was an unusual guard basket. Until then, 13 of the points had been scored by Atlanta's 2 forwards, Manning and Willis.
But you can see Kevin Lockery, anytime he senses Atlanta getting any kind of rhythm, he's going to try to stop it and get his team back to where he wants defensively.
Let's talk business.
For 6 turnovers, they shot 15 for 23 because they got out and ran. They increased their transition opportunities, and then they got to shoot the ball from the perimeter. They've got to be able to make some shots. Tonight, 4 out of 7. Manning has made 3. We've seen Ogden make a jump shot. Willis, so they're shooting the ball well from outside here early.
4:21 to go, first quarter. Heat down by 3. Glenn Rice with 10 to shoot. Quick pull-up jumper. Rebound Kevin Willis. He has 4.
He's going to have to really rebound this team they have on the floor. They've come back now with Augman. So they have Augman and Elo, Manning, Watley, and Willis on the floor right now for the Atlanta Hawks.
Into Willis. Single coverage. Willis will back in and take the jumper.
Too easy. You can't let him take 2 dribbles and back you down like that. I don't think I saw that happen one time the other night. 6-0 Atlanta run. Rice defended by Elo. Good pass, Sally. He's fouled. We're talking about Kevin Willis, who's 4 of 6 so far tonight. The other night in this situation, he had about 3 guys. There's 1 dribble. There's 2 dribbles. Look, no one gets down there, excuse me, soon enough to defend that shot.
You have New York throat.
Yeah, I do have New York throat.
I do too. Kevin Willis. First personal foul. Kevin, by the way, has 8 points. And John Sally to the line. His college basketball coach is here watching him tonight. Bobby Crimmins from Georgia Tech in the stands. Of course, he also coached Matt Geiger, who plays for the Miami Heat. And Atlanta fans who know John Sally so very well give him a little derisive cheer on the missed free throw. Miami 2 of 5 from the line tonight.
And they are one of the better free throw shooting teams. In fact, #1 in the NBA. So free throws very important. We saw last night New Jersey miss some critical free throws. And when you get to a 90-point game, when you get to that free throw line, you've got to cash in about 75 to 80% of the time, especially in the playoffs.
Hawks having a little trouble with that pressure. 15 seconds. Good lob pass into Elo. He is fouled by Glenn Rice, which is his 2nd foul. You know, you said something to me today that I'd like to see if the Hawks take advantage of. Why not post Danny Manning when Glenn Rice is playing?
Well, I like that because what it does is it now forces Rice to play in the low post because Manning has to chase him out on the floor. The way they're matched up right now, Glenn Rice is going to sit down. They're going to come in Cycli, so they're going with a big lineup. Sally, Cycli,
That'll probably put Grant Long on Danny Manning. They're going to have Sally guarding him, so maybe you can isolate him on the floor and get him out on the perimeter.
Ronnie Cycli, who had been the starter for the Miami team at center until he got hurt. John Sally has taken over since then. Augmon tried the set shot, missed it, rebound. Grant Long.
See, Danny Manning was posted and he wanted the ball and he didn't get it.
Stacey Augmon got it, 3-on-1. Elo is bumped, and it falls in, no foul. It's the playoff.
See if we see Bimbo Coles here real soon. Brian Shaw got off to another slow start, did not play well the other night. I think you're going to see Bimbo Coles real soon.
Enos Watley applying pressure to Grant Long. Brian Shaw sees the opening, straight down the middle, he's fouled. Danny Manning had to come in and get him, and that's number 1 on Danny. Concac is back. That has a kind of a sound to it, doesn't it? Cac is back. A couple of early scores. Utah.
That was one of the ugliest basketball games I've ever seen. And I am probably the biggest basketball junkie, and I couldn't hardly watch that game. That was a 30-point game. Don't look at that final score.
San Antonio missed 25 consecutive shots.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing because they got blown out tonight, and this was a great basketball game. How about Orlando? They've gotten their heart broken now. Twice at home, they lose by 1 on a 3-point shot. And then today, Shaq's tip came right after the buzzer sounds. They lose by 2. So what a heartbreak for Orlando right now, sitting down in an 0-2 hole going to Indiana on Monday.
21-16 Atlanta here at the Omni. 2:40 to go in quarter number 1. Bob Neal, Doug Collins with you. NBA playoffs on TNT. Kevin Willis.
Notice how he's stepping out. In order to get his shot, he's going to have to step out there to get some of those.
That's a block foul called on Craig Elo. Kevin's 5 out of 7, has 10 points tonight.
Good call. He never got there. His shoulders were not square. It's a block all the way. Good effort, but he just didn't get his shoulders squared up.
Vernell Ufe Coles.
I knew he was going to be in there real soon because Brian Shaw has really struggled against this smaller lineup, and I think that Bimbo Coles is playing so well that you want to get him out there to see if you can get him right back in the flow he was in the other night.
32 minutes, 17 points in game 1. He was Doug Collins' X factor, and in fact did make the difference in the game. He not only played well offensively, but really held Mookie Blaylock in check, and Blaylock is on the bench for Atlanta and has been there now for about the last 6 minutes because he picked up 2 quick fouls. Watley to Stacey Augmon, double team.
Good ball movement. Excellent ball movement.
And Elo hits that one. He stepped in, and that was only about a 16-footer.
And it was in rhythm, though. Boom, boom, boom. 2 passes and the shot. That was great. That's what you have to do when they double team the post.
25-18 Atlanta. Under 2 minutes to go. First period. Pressure-packed game on the Eastern Conference #1 seed Atlanta Hawks. Ronnie Cycli gets the double team, gives it up to Sally. Nice pass to Bimbo Coles. Rims out. Kevin Willis, rebound. That's 5. Hook pass to Augmon. Hawks have the numbers. Stacey Augmon behind the back. Elo. Out of bounds, Atlanta ball.
You know what I've noticed in Craig Elo, and I don't know if we'll be able to see it, but he's not staying with his shot. He's shooting it, and he's moving as he's coming down. You've got to stay with your shot all the way through, and it looks like he's floating just enough on his shot so he's not staying through the finish.
Minute 30 to go, first quarter. Atlanta by 7. Atlanta led at the end of the first quarter in game number 1 by 9. Augmon's pull-up jumper. They obviously have told Stacey Augmon, Stacey, you got to have that. And you know what? He has a jumper inside 15 feet.
If he doesn't run away from it, when he takes it when it's there, when he has problems is when it's there and he doesn't shoot it, and then as a last resort he takes it. You will not shoot a good percentage like that.
Atlanta by 9. They're trying to post up Steve Smith. He gets it to Cycli, who passes it nicely to Sally. He is fouled, but Sally can't seem to get it jammed, and he was not happy with Kevin Willis, his buddy. But not tonight. Kevin Willis now has, but only one. They call the foul on Concac.
Well,
John with 2.
Yeah, he's upset at himself because he missed the dunk earlier, and he had an opportunity to dunk that one, and he didn't get it in, but he did get the free throw, so he did make a strong attempt. There was no flip or no finger roll. He went strong to the basket. That's what you've got to do.
John Sally, Kevin Willis play a lot of summer basketball together. Friends off the court. They're matched up here tonight. Let's see how they're doing against each other from game one.
Well, you see when Sally holds his own against Willis, that's a win for the Miami Heat. And if you throw in Cycli's numbers there, they combined for 22 points. Cycli had 7 rebounds, Sally 8, so they got 22 points and 15 rebounds from their center position.
And Dwayne Farrell comes in as contact with his 2 personals will sit down. The Hawks go small. Once again, the Heat only 6 of 11 from the line tonight.
Well, this is what we have to watch now. When Atlanta went to their bench the other night, Bob, they had a 9-point lead, and they went south. They missed 7 straight shots, and they allowed Miami back in the game. So now they've gone to the bench. Let's see what happens.
Only Augman and Willis are the starters out there. There's the double team leaving Farrell open. Out of his range. Farrell, a good scorer, does not have the long jumper.
Need to look for a quick shot here. Get 2 for 1.
Offensive foul, and wait a minute. We've got some words happening down there with Cycli and Willis wisely stepping away. Boy, what a difference in the maturity of Kevin Willis over the years.
Well, also, too, I think what you're seeing is a sense of urgency on Kevin Willis's part, too. He's playing nasty tonight. He's playing nasty.
27-18, Atlanta by 9. Remember, they won the first quarter by 9 in game 1. 25 seconds to go in the quarter. Boy, it's rough down underneath the hoop.
I wouldn't want to set a screen down there. You get punished.
Enos Watley. Hawks are getting perimeter shots from inside 17 feet.
They're not living behind the three-point line. They're getting inside their range, and they're knocking them down because they're having to double-team the post.
Enos Watley, offensive foul. That's 4 turnovers for Miami. 5.8 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
See, when you have Stacey Augman in the post, they're double-teaming. They're double-teaming Willis. They're double-teaming Manning. That creates shot opportunities for you on the outside.
Elo, all the way in, it was blocked by either Cycli or Sally. That's the end of the quarter. And Atlanta leads it by 11. The Hawks outscore Miami 8-1 during the last 3 minutes. Kevin Willis with 10 points. Danny Manning has 7.
Glenn Ford and Arthur Kennedy stake their claims.
I hit it.
On, around, and between moving parts to reduce heat, friction, and wear.
My car's got 295,000.
This is what happens when you have to double-team the post, and this is why you have to move the basketball. John Sally is going to come down and double-team Stacey Augman. We're going to stop it right here. Here's the double-team. 1 pass, and you're going to see the rotation, and you got to make the extra pass. They do a nice job of this, and look at the rhythm shot that you get. You cannot get to Elo. He buries the wide-open 17-foot jump shot.
Mookie Blaylock continues on the bench at the beginning of the second quarter. He has 2 personals. Enos Watley, who's played very well for Atlanta in his stead, is still on the floor. 7 to shoot for Atlanta. Kevin Willis with a careless pass. Watley takes it inside. Got no call. The buzzer is going to go off. That's a shot clock violation. 24 seconds. Miami ball.
You know, that's either a charge or a foul. I'd like to see him call a foul on that. You know, you say, well, there was no place to go. It's either a block, a charge, or something because there was so much contact on that play. That's where guys get upset.
4 turnovers for the Heat. That was only the second Atlanta turnover in this game. Cycli defended by Willis. Bullet pass. How did it get to Long? It went through everybody. It looked like a screenshot in hockey.
Yeah, you have a good call because I don't think that even Grant Long saw it until it went right into his hand.
Manning in contact, about to get back into the game for Atlanta. Farrell.
Notice how Willis is looking for that jump shot tonight.
And hitting it.
That's 3 of them that he's buried out there.
And he has a good jump shot when he's left alone and can square up and set himself.
Bobby's realizing that he's not going to get him with his back to the basket because they're going to double team him. They're not going to give him that chance.
Steve Smith, too strong, too big for Stacey Augman. Steve Smith, a member of Dream Team 2, Hawks by 9.
Illegal defense on the Miami Heat.
Ed T. Rush with the call. Ed T. Rush, David Jones, Ron Garrettson are the officials. And now Konkak and Manning get in. Enos Watley sits out, and also Mookie Blaylock comes in. So Mookie with his 2 personals back in, and Harold Miner has come onto the floor for the Miami Heat.
You know what's very interesting to me is the other night Lenny Wilkins there's another illegal defense, this time on Glenn Rice. But in the second quarter of the other night, Lenny Wilkins had 4 bench players in contact on the floor at this time of the game. Tonight you look out there, he's got Blaylock a starter, Konkak a starter, Manning a starter to go with 2 bench players, Farrell and Elo. So I think he's going to really be careful tonight to make sure that he always has a minimum of 2 starters on the floor if he goes to his bench.
Hawks by 10 as Blaylock hits the technical foul on the second illegal defense, and Hawks will get a new shot clock and possession of the ball. Dwayne Farrell, when he's in, Lenny Wilkins wants him to do just that. Take it to the rim.
That was pretty soft defense right there. I'm not going to take anything away from Farrell's move, but that lane parted like the Red Sea right there, and no one even came over to contest.
Steve Smith kicks it to Harold Miner, good penetrator. Contact with a block. The follow by Steve Smith. Oh, he punishes Atlanta inside. Steve has 7. Contact, by the way, had 4 blocks in the first half in game 1. Here's Manning with the penetration. Nice move.
He posted up again, playing with his back to the basket. What you talked about earlier. There's a steal by Blaylock.
Farrell, finger roll doesn't go, but he's fouled.
Notice the upcourt pressure that Atlanta's putting on right now.
Second foul on Bimbo Cole. And here's what you were talking about, Doug, posting up Danny Manning, using his size inside. Dwayne Farrell will shoot the free throw after this look at the replay.
Now, see, he got 2 dribbles again. No one came over, so we've seen 2 post plays where Manning and Willis have both had their back to the basket. They've gotten 2 dribbles in the lane, in the paint, with no one coming over, and both of them have scored easily.
And now they call timeout.
An all-day roundup of Great Western
Dollars in his behalf to the United Negro College Fund.
Well, Danny Manning tonight 4 for 5. In game 1, he was 4 for 13. More importantly, he's gotten some easy looks at the basket. He's made his jump shot. You throw in Kevin Willis, who had 4 shots in the first half the other night. Tonight, he's already 6 for 8. So Manning and Willis, the 2 leading scorers, have combined to shoot 10 of 13. Get in some timely shooting by Elo on the perimeter. You've had Farrell give you a nice lift. Stacey Ogman's made some jump shots. So they're getting a very balanced attack here to start this game. As a result, shooting 59%.
Dwayne Farrell with 4 points early tonight. Dwayne Farrell was only 1 of 4 in 13 minutes in game number 1. Hawks 38-24, biggest lead of the night for Atlanta. Bimbo Coles, Harold Miner at the guard. Steve Smith's moved up front with Glenn Rice. So now Miami with a small team on the floor.
Oh, man.
Miner doesn't play small.
No, he's so quick and so strong. You know, I always felt he was taller. When you look at him, he's got a strong-looking body on him. I thought he was longer and lankier when I first saw him on television. He's a powerful player.
They list him at 6'5". Contact wide open.
Notice how they're making the extra pass tonight. Coming to the top, and they're catching Miami rotating, and they can't get to that second pass. That's why Lenny Wilkins says patience.
Miner defended by Craig Elo, looking for the 2-man game with cycling. Not much spacing.
Good call. No, there's none spacing at all because Miner does not have 3-point range.
Bimbo with the penetration. Steve Smith, 5 to shoot. What a player.
He is sweet.
He's from Detroit Pershing High School. Played, of course, at Michigan State. 9 points. Big pick by Manning. Elo finds contact. Not this time. Rice rebound. Atlanta by 12. Steve Smith open for 3.
Got to get to him in transition. See, this is what, well, I tell you, Lenny Wilkins is upset. You got to get to those 3-point shooters. We build ourselves a lead. We got to tag those guys who can shoot the ball from outside.
Particularly Steve Smith. He hit the heartbreaker in game number 1.
And Glenn Rice. You can't let those guys get open shots.
8 seconds on the clock. Mookie Blaylock, the pull-up jumper for 3. Punched away by Farrell. Back comes Miami, down only 9. They had trailed by 14.
Minor's wide open on the baseline if they can find him. He's got a one-on-one situation against Manning. He can take him.
Steve Smith off the arm of contact, 10 on the shot clock. Miami ball, and Kevin Lockery wants John Sally to get in for Steve Smith. From a Hawks point of view, that's good news.
Yes, it is, and they've gone back to that big lineup once again, so now Manning will be playing Sally and vice versa. So let's see if Manning can take Sally out on the perimeter.
Cycli spins in. Contact was right in front of him. Offensive foul on Ron Cycli.
The other night we had some replays where they allowed Cycli to go into the lane to his right hand. Tonight they made him spin back. First time he does it, he gets the offensive foul. Take away a man's strength.
That's 2 fouls on Cycli. Danny Manning trying to work inside against Sally. The pull-up jumper won't fall. Blaylock almost stole the rebound, but instead, Bimbo Coles, his man with the run out. Craig Elo fouled him. That'll stop the ball from going in.
Mookie Blaylock cost his team because he's got to protect the backcourt. He went in there to get the offensive rebound, and when he did, he laid the whole backcourt open. No one back there at all. And what happens is you get a little frustrated, and you think maybe I'll sneak in and get me an offensive rebound. Well, for every one you get, you leave the backcourt unprotected 5 or 6 times. Look at the Miami Heat. Only 50% from the free throw line tonight.
Bimbo Coles drops this one in. Bimbo is a 78% free throw shooter. Farrell goes out. Elo goes out. We have Augman, Willis, Danny Manning, Mookie Blaylock, and Contact on the floor for Atlanta. The starters are back in for the Hawks, leading by 8.
I would be very surprised tonight if Lenny Wilkins' rotation got past 8, unless there's some unforeseen circumstance. I think you're going to see Farrell off the bench, Elo, and Watley.
Foul on Miami as Willis was trying to get inside.
Willis is a little testy tonight. This is your big guy. He's realizing what's at stake, and you see he and Coles running into each other. So there's another shot, 2 of them.
3 fouls on Bimbo Coles now. Miami on a 9-2 run. Augman dumping it off to Danny Manning with a little jump hook. That's part of the Manning game, and the Hawks lead now by 9. Manning has 11 points. Augman defending Minor. Pull-up jumper. Not this time. Willis with the rebound. That's 7. Willis open. Blaylock feeds it. Has to kick it back out again. Willis with the small hands. Sometimes trouble catching the ball down there. The jump hook. Rebound. Manning.
This Hawk team tonight is one step quicker, and they're just right now a little more hungry than this Miami team. I don't know if Miami's comfortable because they have the 1 win, but right now Atlanta dominating in every area.
And Atlanta committing the foul. Doug, it was about at this point that Miami started making a run on Atlanta in game number 1, but until this point in game 1, Atlanta looked sharp and Miami looked flat.
Best players' shots, and as a coach, you've got to find ways to do it, and tonight Lenny Wilkins done an excellent job of that. Willis 9 shots, Manning 8. So they've already combined for 17 shots. The other night they combined for 26. So they're on pace to get the 20 shots that I talked about. I just think it's so important because what it does, it puts the pressure now on Miami to try to take the ball out of those players' hands. And now your periphery or your perimeter or your support players now must come through for you.
You could say periphery, perimeter, support players.
Exactly. Only you could say that, the wordsmith that you are.
6 to go in the first half. Harold Minor, not bashful.
See, look where Stacey Augman is going. He's playing back in the post because Minor doesn't have 3-point range. That shot's a little bit out of his range, but he buries that one.
He had to step in for it. It was a 2, of course. 44-35, 5:48 to go in the half. Lang, who made just a token appearance the other night, is in for Atlanta. Lang only played 5 minutes.
That's not a good shot by Mookie. That's too quick. He's not shooting it well. Take your time. Now, that's a good shot. That's the one you got to make.
They say Mookie stepped on the baseline when he caught the ball. Atlanta turnover, that's 3. So far, 6 turnovers for Miami. The Heat trailing by 9. Blaylock and Coles, a significant matchup in this game. Foul away from the ball. Somebody holding on the cut. It's on Andrew Lang in his first personal. 13 foul. 2 team fouls have been committed by Miami with 5:21 to go in the first half.
It's an interesting lineup now for Atlanta. I did not see this the other night. Manning is a small forward, but both Lang and Willis on the floor together. So big lineup to counter the big attack of Sally and Cycli on the floor for Miami.
Lang usually a good post defender. He's on Cycli. Let's see how he does on this matchup. He's singled up against him. Cycli misses. Rebound Ogman. Blaylock started to pass it, and he says, no, that's Andrew Lang. I need him in closer, like in there. Lang missed the shot. Back comes Miami, down by 9. Lang said, don't bring it in here, and that's 2 on him.
You know what I sensed a little bit in the last minutes? We have to watch it now. Miami starting to make a little bit of a push here. It's a 9-point game. It was up to, what, 13 or 14. He can cut it to 7. So right now, if I'm Lenny Wilkins, I really keep an eye on what's going on right now because it looks like Miami's trying to make a little push here before halftime.
Bimbo Coles hits the free throw coming up at halftime. Reebok halftime reporter Ernie Johnson with Isaiah Thomas in our studios. Utah San Antonio highlights. You might call them lowlights from that crazy game. And Indiana's defeat of Orlando. Indiana swept the 2 home games, and now the Magic have to go back to Indianapolis. And it is a 7-point game, 44-37. Kevin Willis. A lot of moves. Too many moves.
Yeah,
Bimbo Coles.
4-on-1. You should take a foul here.
Punched away by Ogman. What great hands. Coles comes up with it, however. Now he's open for the short-range jumper.
Bimbo Coles must see Atlanta, and his eyes must get as big as silver dollars. I mean, he's got 6 now off the bench, 17 the other night, and I felt the push coming. It's now a 5-point game.
And Lenny Wilkins wants and gets a timeout for the Hawks with 4:06 to go in the half. The second quarter was really the Hawks' biggest problem quarter in the game on Thursday night. 22nd timeout. Bimbo Coles was your X factor in game 1. Mookie Blaylock, the X factor, meaning the player that a lot of things can hinge and turn on. And their matchup was significant in game number 1.
Yeah, you see that. Bimbo Coles with 17. You see Mookie Blaylock 3 for 15. In the last 2 ball games against Miami, Mookie Blaylock and Craig Elo have shot 12 for 53, 2 for 23 from three-point land. Tonight, Mookie is 0 for 3, so still not stroking the outside shot.
Miami on a 13-4 run during the last 5 minutes of this second quarter. Danny Manning tried to shovel it inside. He was fouled by Ronnie Cycli, and that'll be 3.
They ran a little play there that forced the switch. Cycli had to step out on Manning, not quick enough, but again, I always keep saying these things, and I hope the viewers at home understand why. Danny Manning's a right-handed player. Cycli's playing him. Push him back to his left hand where you get some help. He gets up, and he allows him to go to his right hand, and Manning steps up the free throw line and misses the free throw once again.
Big misses, too, is that those are run stoppers. Tonight, Danny Manning 6 of 8 from the floor, but struggling from the line. That one rattles home, and it is a 6-point Atlanta lead. 3:52 to go, first half. What was it, game 1? Tied at 46 at the half in that game.
Keep your eye on Glenn Rice in his possession. I think he's going to try to come off the screen and get a jumper at the top of the circle.
Off the screen, didn't get the jumper. Lang stepped out. He'll take it anyway. Good call, Doug. Look at Harold Miner, former slam dunk champion. He explodes. Harold Miner out of Southern Cal. It is a 4-point Atlanta lead.
We saw Chris Morris give us 2 of those last night in New York. I mean, 2 that Michael Jordan would have been proud of.
Danny Manning in the paint. Doesn't get it. Tip in. Kevin Willis. Kevin has 14, as does Manning.
I like it, though, that Danny Manning is looking to take shots. The worst thing that can happen is they don't go in, or one of your teammates gets the rebound and sticks it back.
Harold Miner, he's been dangerous. Nice pass, Sally. He missed it again inside. He's going to take it back on the floor. Bad place to have it. Jump ball. Lang. Andrew Lang hasn't done much statistically, but I'll tell you, he has been a defensive presence for Atlanta.
You must have shot blocking. If you don't, people go to the basket, they have no respect for you.
Trust me, Isuzu, practically amazing.
Body on him, and that's how you see these spectacular plays made in the NBA. You've got to put a body on these guys. They're such great leapers. Rice is going to give you the pump fake. Andrew Lang leaves his feet, and you're going to see Minor come into the picture with a spectacular play. So a lot of that at Southern Cal.
Lang and Sally. Sally wins the tip. Atlanta led 40-26 with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. Now there's 2:46 to go. It's been Miami ever since then. Grant Long has it punched away by Willis. Augman out to Blaylock, has Manning. Transition off the turnover.
When Atlanta's at their best. Miami's got to be very careful here. I sense in a very emotional Atlanta team right now.
They're running again. Manning's way out there.
They don't want to let him push it to 15. You got to shoot that one, Danny. That's where you're too unselfish. You got to shoot that ball.
I talked to Alvin Gentry, assistant coach with Miami, who coached Danny Manning when he was an assistant with Larry Brown at Kansas. And he said Danny Manning wants to please people. It's part of his personality. And he says it hurts his game.
Well, if I'm Ted Turner, I say, look, I want you to please me. Shoot, please. I'm paying your. I've got the check here. These guys aren't paying you.
Atlanta down to Willis.
I like it. They're going into the post, kicking it out. That's a tough shot by Mookie. I mean, that's not a good shot. And I don't want to mean to get on the guy, but when you're struggling, you cannot take low percentage shots.
Hawks lead by 8, minute 19 to go in the half. Steve Smith back into the ball game. He hurt the Hawks inside previously. Nobody was looking. It went off first Rice and then Long. Atlanta ball, and Miami does have 8 turnovers now. Farrell in for Lang, so Atlanta's gotten smaller, a little bit better ball handlers here for the final minute 13.
You got to give Danny Manning another touch in the post against Grant Long. Let him create either his shot or the shot for someone else, or to get the foul.
Grant Long holding on. First he had forced Manning way outside. As Manning could turn inside, use his height advantage, Long had to hold him. That's his first personal.
Should be the 15th foul, or is it just the 4th?
We have them with 4 team fouls.
Okay.
I think they'll be in the bonus. Both will be in the bonus next time. Under a minute. Willis. Bad pass right out to Steve Smith to Harold Miner. Look out. And the foul.
Harold Miner's really given this team an emotional jump off the bench, giving them great offense and that quickness to the basket. See, Willis was pushed out of bounds there just enough to have to cough the ball up. And he goes to Harold Miner. We've seen some sensational plays by him. He's 5 for 7, has 10 points all in the second quarter. So as Miami has cut into this Atlanta lead, it's been on the strength of Harold Miner. We saw in game 1 really not a factor in their win, but tonight giving them a chance here, maybe steal another game.
Harold Miner. And it is now 51-46, 46 seconds to go, first half. Miami just won't go away. Blaylock's pull-up jumper from short range, he cannot buy it.
See, he chased his shot down again, so they're going to have numbers out here once again. You better look for Harold Miner in the open court. Right there he is.
Manning stepped up with nice defense that time. The follow by Sally, the tip in by Steve Smith, who has 14 points, and it is a 3-point game.
Now you tell me, in watching this game tonight, that you have not felt like that Atlanta has not totally dominated this game and they only have 3 points. I think that's a real psychological boost for the Miami Heat right now, going in the locker room, at worst, probably down 5 or 6, maybe within 1.
7-0 Miami run. Augman left alone. He won't take that shot. He makes the pass over to Farrell, who has to take it inside. He gets fouled with 1 second on the shot clock. Coming up, Bernie Johnson, Isaiah Thomas in our studios. The Reebok halftime report, only 2.9 seconds and a couple of very interesting commercials away.
I know EJ and Isaiah will have a great halftime for us. Isaiah's done a great job in there. We know EJ's on about his 33rd cup of coffee, trying to stay awake listening to us.
Well, you know, Isaiah can carry him. He had to deal with Bill Lambier and Rick Mahorn and some others. He had to deal with, you know, in surly moods at times, so I think he can even handle even Ernie. 52-48, Hawks by 4. Farrell with an opportunity to give Atlanta a 5-point lead, 2.9 seconds remaining in the half. Sellout crowd at the Omni. It sold out just moments before the game started.
You know, let's see if they have a play here where they try to turn and just throw this ball long. It looks like Minor's going to try to steal Augman underneath the basket, the length of the floor, and try to throw and see if he can just out-jump him.
Well, he can out-jump him. There's the pass.
Oh, he's going to get it at the other end.
Yeah, it'll be Atlanta ball. What happened is, this is really interesting. Stacey Augman pulled the old defensive back trick in football. He got under him, gave him a little nudge, gave him the rule before the pass was thrown. Nice DB play. And Atlanta has 2.9, a chance to take a shot here underneath the rim.
Well, this could be big. If they could score 4 points in the last 2.9, now give them a little psychological boost to put them up 7. So this could be a little swing here that if you're Kevin Lockery could change a little bit about the way you feel going in at halftime. And Lenny Wilkins also.
Ed T. Rush and Ron Gerritsen talking about the time left here, making sure they got their act together. Ed T. Rush going back to the scoring table. 2.9 on the scoreboard right now. And Ed's going to tell Kevin Lockery.
He might not be able to substitute because he brought a guy in and the ball was not touched. He might have to bring Glenn Rice back.
That's a good point.
I think that's what they're talking about, whether the substitute's allowed to come into the game or not.
Apparently they're just going to leave it be. Well, we have 2.9 seconds to go until halftime. The Hawks are leading at 53-48. Atlanta led 40-26 with 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. And since then, it's been Miami dominating the play.
You think they're icing the inbound passer? Is that what they're trying to do?
I don't know, but Kevin Lockery's getting mad, and now they're deciding that...
Oh, he's going to call a 20, then he can substitute.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, now he says, now just stay out there, so...
Well, that was a lot of sound and fury signifying very little here with 2.9 seconds, but there is the 20-second timeout. Kevin Lockery still arguing about it, and this is the half that won't end. Later tonight, by the way, at 10:30 Eastern Time, Denver at Seattle. Seattle leads 1-0. Gary Bender, Jack Gibbons will have that game. During the regular season, the Nuggets gave the Sonics some problems, but I'll tell you what, in game number 1, the Sonics showed why everybody's picking them to win it.
Well, right now, the Sonics emotionally are playing so well. That's a very volatile team, but they have got their emotions channeled in the right way. And when you get 9 guys coming at you the way they do, playing with that kind of fury at home, you're in for a long night. And that Denver team is a young team, and they're an up-and-coming team. I just don't think they're going to be able to handle Seattle. I think they're hoping maybe if they can get home, maybe they can win one. But right now, they just are not at the equal talent-wise. I think Dan Issel made a good point. He said, we can deal with all the other things, but they also have pretty good talent, too.
Yeah. I need these doubleheaders to stop. I need some sleep. Farrell inside. He fouled. He gets the basket. That took just little over a second.
Let me tell you what happened, all right? With that 20-second timeout that Kevin Lockery took, it enabled Atlanta that didn't have a 20-second timeout to draw up this play. So for Kevin Lockery to get the guy he wanted on the floor, he took the 20. Now, Lenny Wilkins took advantage of it by drawing up the play. They had the ball, and they're going to get a 3-point opportunity. So it's a chance here now that they were going to score 5 points in the last 2.9 seconds.
56-48, Atlanta by 8. Manning intercepts. They're going to get a shot away. That won't count. But Atlanta had a chance to score again. Danny Manning is come out strong in the opening half with 16 points. Kevin Willis also has 16. The Atlanta forwards are the men early here tonight. Atlanta by 8. After these commercial messages, we'll join Ernie and Zeke in our studios in Atlanta.
With an 8-point lead, you breathe a little bit easier if you're Lenny Wilkins, but they've got to come out now in that third.
Forward, 32 points.
Well, you know, we talked about this being the difference. They've already combined for 21 shots, 15 for 21, 32 points. In the entire ball game the other night, they were 10 for 26 for 27 points. So they've already surpassed their point total, and you see what they've shot. Now, Kevin Willis has done a nice job in the post. Danny Manning drops it in, and what, just one dribble, two dribbles, and no one comes over to give help till he's into the jump hook, which was too late. We saw Manning also be able to make the same kind of move. And Manning with a big first half. Now he's going to be in the post. And here he is with his two dribbles, and he takes it all the way to the other side of the basket. We did not see this happen the other night. Miami was much more aggressive, double-teaming the low-post players.
Now, we talk about the field goal analysis. You made one at the beginning of the ball game. Let's see how that's going to turn out as far as what happened in game number 1.
Well, we're going to talk about peaks and valleys. The first 5 minutes of the game, the Hawks shot 7 for 9. Minutes 8 through 12, they were 7 for 7. And minutes 29 through 38, 10 for 12. So they were plus 16, 18, plus 30 during that period of time. All right, we'll clear that. And then in the other stages, 1 for 7, 7 for 31. And in the last 10 minutes of the game, 2 for 18, which comes out to minus 35. So they played in spurts. Now we'll see what happens to tonight. Look at this once again. First 15 minutes of the game, they shoot 60-something%. Plus 14, but look how they finished. 6 for 16, they were minus 6, so that's even with the last 5 points in the 2.9 seconds of the half.
Atlanta begins the half with possession of the basketball and an 8-point lead. Koncak, Willis, Stacey Augmon, Blaylock, and Manning will play against Brian Shaw, Glenn Rice, John Sally, Grant Long, and Steve Smith. Koncak nowhere to go with the ball. 4 seconds to shoot. Willis is going to have to take a 3. Boy, that was not a productive.
No, that's not the way you want to come out of the half with Willis shooting a 3 to beat the clock.
Brian Shaw, a 3.
Well, Brian Shaw is looking out. You know what? It almost looks like he thinks his minutes are going to be limited because Bimbo's playing so well, and he's taking quick shots. He's now, 0 for 3 in the ball game.
And an ill-advised shot from Stacey Augmon. Both teams flat to start this half. Minute gone, nobody scored. Steve Smith, he was punishing in the first half. Sally comes away with a rebound after knocking Augmon aside. No call. Glenn Rice buries the 3, and he's limping. Looks to be okay. Glenn Rice played on that 1989 Michigan NCAA championship team.
Bob, when you make a 3, you feel good all over. Forget about that ankle that he just twisted.
Danny Manning to Koncak to Blaylock. 5 to shoot. Blaylock tries the 3 and gets it. Mookie Blaylock's first field goal of the night is a triple.
He's now 1 for 6 in the game, 1 for 4 from the 3-point line. That ball, though, was shot in rhythm. He had his feet underneath him. It was a good shot. They're still arm wrestling, trying to set the screen roll.
Brian Shaw has 4 seconds to shoot it. Nowhere to go. Blaylock comes away with it. Would have been a shot clock violation anyway. This is Willis and Augmon. They decide not to try it. It's not Blaylock and Elo. Or Blaylock and Augmon.
See, Kevin Lockleby's got a real dilemma on his hands. You want to keep Brian Shaw on the floor because he gives you a push up the floor and he's big and he can do some things, but he's struggling right now. You've got a guy on the bench, Bimbo Coles, who's playing very well. And there's one of those forced passes by Danny Manning. No place to go. Here's Shaw taking another shot. He's going to find another one. I mean, he's taken 3 shots here in the first 2 minutes. I don't know how much longer Kevin will go with it, but, Brian Shaw can't worry about his minutes right now. Looks like he's trying to get a bunch of shots up there.
Kevin Willis gets it from Mookie Blaylock. Hawks lead by 10. I'll tell you something. I've seen several Heat games this year and talked to a lot of people that cover Miami. Miami will do this. They will shoot themselves in a hole.
You got to be very careful because when you're playing uphill, it takes a lot of energy, especially on the road. So they got to take their time and get good shots. They're down 10.
Steve Smith to Shaw, shooting it again with 1 on the shot clock. That's a 2. That one finally dropped.
That's confidence, though. I think you just missed 3 and you're 0 for 5, and you pull up and bury one. That was
Kevin
a big
Willis
shot.
popped Shaw off that pick also. Willis with the pick and roll from Blaylock. Nothing there. Mookie takes it in to Augment. He's excellent around the rim.
Well, he's got that ability to hang in the air with those long arms. He can really take the ball around the defender. You think you've got him covered, and then he just takes the ball right by your ear.
Steve Smith.
See Julius Erving do that all the time. Because he had him smothered, he just would go to the other side of the basket.
John Sally to Glenn Rice. 5 to shoot. Rice right in the face of Manning. Blocked it. Blaylock has it all the way. Manning with the block shot.
Let me tell you something. That's the Mookie Blaylock. Love to get about 2 or 3 more of those layups because it makes that outside jumper a whole lot easier to take.
Hawks by 12.
Miami getting themselves in trouble with turnovers and some quick shots. Glenn Rice, no place to go with the ball. Danny Manning knocks it down, and here's Mookie Blaylock with the easiest 2 he'll get tonight.
The NBA playoffs on TNT are brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And by Dutch Boy. Give your home the look that lasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock on!
Hi, Rick. Hey, Brian. How the wife and kids? How's your mom? Good. She says hi. Good.
And the winner of tonight's match, the Ice Cold Bud Light. Bud Light!
With a great taste that will fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
The new Camaro convertible. What else would you expect from the country that invented rock and roll?
Not all cards are bound by the paper they're printed on. NBA basketball cards are totally out of control! Baby, what a play! Coast to coast, Ryder goes up high! NBA basketball cards, breaking all boundaries, man.
Miami had cut it to 3. Hawks have since gone back up by 12. Time for our Chevrolet scoreboard as we look at other playoff action in the NBA. Utah even the series in San Antonio today by 12 points. And Indiana leads the series 2-0, getting both the wins in Orlando. Reminiscent a little bit of Phoenix going down 0-2 last year in the first round. Tonight, Denver and Seattle. That comes up next on TNT. Gary Bender, Jack Gibbons will have the game for you. Grant Long working against Willis. Draws 3 players. Contact, got a piece of it. But there's a foul called on Anthony Rice.
You know, we talk about shot opportunities, and Glenn Rice is the guy right now for Miami. They've got to start getting him some shots. He's 3 for 7, and he's doing a good job. He's hit a couple threes tonight, but he's got to get involved offensively. Remember, this guy's the 4th leading scorer in the Eastern Conference. There's a whole lot of people standing out or sitting out there listening that don't understand that other than Scottie Pippen, Shaquille O'Neal, and Patrick Ewing, this guy's, nobody else leads him in Eastern Conference scoring, so they've got to get him involved.
Grant Long with the free throw. Grant Long, only one of 2 of the original Miami Heat players on this squad. Grant Long and Ronnie Cycling.
They've endured some very difficult times, and I'm sure it's fun for them to be in the playoffs. And I know that they would love to go home up 2-0, but at worst, if they're 1-1, the Miami Arena should be rocking come
What is it, Monday nights is when they play, or is it Tuesday? When is that game?
Tuesday night. 65-55, Atlanta by 10. 7 minutes, 29 seconds to go in the third quarter. Bad pass, Farrell, intercepted by Shaw. Back comes Miami.
To get to Glenn Rice here, I'd set him up against Manning. I'd run him a couple screens if I could get him a jump shot.
Shaw lobs it to Sally. Good pass inside. Back to Shaw on the cut.
Nice give and go there by Brian Shaw. He made a nice steal. He's hit 2 shots in a row, so give credit where credit is due. He settled down a little bit after missing his first 3 shots of the half. See Miami now out trapping defensively, trying to get Atlanta out of the rhythm of their half-court offense. They've settled in and have found some openings.
Second personal foul on Grant Long. Each team now with 1 team foul. We're halfway through, or actually not quite halfway through the third quarter. Atlanta leading by 8 points.
See, when you trap, you don't always do it to force turnovers. You force teams to go quicker, present an earlier shot maybe to somebody who you don't want to, or someone who you'd like to take the shot. And now you get out and maybe get a running opportunity. So 2 trapping opportunities in a row for the Miami Heat.
Now Shaw has picked up 3 personal fouls. Atlanta inbounds it on the side with a new 24-second clock. Atlanta's small lineup, relatively so. Augman, Blaylock, and Farrell in with Manning and Willis. Stacey Augman picked it up, tried to hook. Sally blocked it. Grant Long picked up the loose ball, and here comes Brian Shaw. Look out for Smith.
You know, it's interesting. Atlanta is a unique team. They get a lead. They get up 12. They make a couple mistakes. Miami right back in it now, 6. Is this going to be a replay the other night of the peaks and valleys and who wins the last 7 minutes? Whirling dervish layup. There's a block shot by Sally, which now is going to create an open floor opportunity. And this is the importance of being able to shoot the ball. Cross court to Steve Smith. Willis says, I can't give you this 3-point shot, so I'm going to fake it. Now I'm going to go by you, square you up, and make the little 2. And now they're right back in at 6 points. Now can the Hawks recover and make their little move now coming out of the timeout? 6-0 run out of the Miami Heat timeout.
Notice that Danny Manning has not taken a shot in this quarter after being very active in the first half successfully for Atlanta. Dwayne Farrell. It'll be Atlanta ball.
If I'm Danny Manning, I go to Mookie Blaylock and say, Mookie, bring me the ball. Like Charles Barkley did the other night. I want the ball. Give me the basketball. Now.
Charles certainly said that. 36 points, 19 rebounds. He was a man for Phoenix.
There's nothing there. I mean, Stacey Augman didn't read the weak side defense. You could see that coming from here. You can send him a telegram.
Brian Shaw's pull-up jumper.
Now, I got to give Brian credit. Brian, I was on you. You missed 3. Now you've made 3 in a row. You've made a couple steals. So
it's a 4-point game.
That's exactly right. And you're seeing them trapping right now, trying to keep Atlanta out of their half-court offense. Where's Danny Manning? You got to get him the ball, either he or Kevin Willis.
They're looking for Willis. He's against Steve Smith down there, but Blaylock couldn't get it to him.
Yeah, on the
shot clock down to 5 seconds. Now Willis draws the double team. Blaylock gets it to finally Farrell, and that won't even count.
See, what's happening now is Miami is really committed to that double team in the low post. They played it a little bit soft in the first half. When the clock winds down, you can go very hard on the double team because now you've got to make 2 passes coming out, and you see the shot clock violation. So as that clock starts working against you, that defense can really load up on you.
Hawks by 4, 5:53 to go.
You sense the crowd getting uneasy?
Blaylock on Brian Shaw. They cleared the side, get it to Glenn Rice, defended by Farrell. There's the double team. Shaw's the open man. Back to Grant Long. 5 to shoot. Big shot inside. Wouldn't go down. Knocked out of bounds by Smith. Atlanta ball.
Boy, that would have been an unbelievable shot coming across with your left hand. I thought that ball was in. I don't know how it spun out. Elo in the game now, so gone back to that small lineup. Farrell, Elo, and Blaylock, basically 3 guards.
Atlanta gets the lay-in because Danny Manning just laid it in to Mookie Blaylock.
You pass out of the double team, you cut. You pass and you cut, then you leave 2 guys behind you.
Crowd now a little bit more enthusiastic here. Brian Shaw is fouled hard. That's the second foul.
See Brian Shaw checking to see if he still has his front teeth.
On Danny
Look at
Manning.
him right now holding his lip.
Be a 2-shot foul.
See if he gets hit in the mouth right here by Manning as he comes over. Right there, boy. Hard foul. They're going to call 2 shots in a ball. That's a flagrant foul. Brian Shaw now 7 points here in about a 3-minute period of time. He's enabling Kevin Lockery to maybe bring Bimbo Coles in the game in the 4th quarter more fresh to play against the Mookie Blaylock, who's going to play heavier minutes.
4-point game, Miami ball with 5:05 to go in the 3rd quarter.
If they try to post up Brian Shaw against Mookie, he's got the size advantage down low.
Steve Smith into Elo, and they call Elo for the foul. That's his 3rd. Now the Hawks have committed 3 team fouls, Miami 2.
Well, they're going to call this a little quicker right now. 3 quick fouls right now. Willis pushed Glenn Rice. Elo popped Steve Smith, and Manning with a flagrant foul on Brian Shaw. So 3 fouls in this possession, 2 free throws, and possession. From here on in, they're in the penalty.
Costly possession defensively for Atlanta.
And remember, Miami's the #1 free throw shooting team in the NBA. There's Glenn Rice.
And it's a 2-point game, 67-65, with 4:40 to go in the quarter. Glenn Rice has 12 points in the ball game. And now the whistle and the foul will be called on Miami. Steve Smith gets called for the foul, his 1st.
Can you sense, Bob, as the game now is getting down to about 16 minutes to go, the stakes start getting higher and higher, and the tempers will get shorter and shorter. The referee's doing a good job calling these fouls.
And the collar's getting tighter and tighter.
Yeah, especially if you're Atlanta and you're 1 down and you've got to win this game. You've got to win this game tonight.
Danny Manning whirling into the paint and scoring. Danny Manning looking as aggressive as I've seen him.
And I tell you, Willis just threw down John Sally, and Sally is upset about it. And Davy Jones, he went over and he said, "You saw it."
69-65 Atlanta. It's the playoffs. It's the East. That was Danny Manning's 1st shot attempt in the entire 2nd half. He has 18 points. That's 16 at the break.
They're going to call an offensive foul on Steve Smith.
Moving pick away from the ball against Craig Elo.
He and Elo are arm wrestling now off the basketball. Remember, Elo took the shot on him the last possession. Well, Steve Smith retaliated. Can't do this in the playoffs, Bob. It's a 4-point game. You got a chance to win this game.
Elo trying to get it to Kevin Willis. Offensive foul. That's the 3rd foul on Willis. Boy, the whistle has been blowing. In the last 3 minutes, there have been 7 fouls called.
Well, Mookie looked over to Lenny Wilkins. Lenny was upset. He called the motion set, and they came down, dropped it in, and all stood around and watched Willis. So he wanted to get some motion. He realizes the game getting a little stagnant right now.
Bimbo Coles will be into the game for Miami momentarily. 10 on the shot clock. Burrell shadowing Glenn Rice. They're trying to get the ball to him. Steve Smith with 5 on the clock. Big drive. Rebound, Kevin Willis. Hawks have the numbers here. Blaylock inside to Burrell. 6-point lead. Burrell has 11. 20-second timeout, Miami. You see that the boss man is here. Ted Turner, Jane Fonda, the local celebrities, and Bob Neal, and Doug, and it's quite the place to be tonight. Sellout crowd at the Omni, by the way. Only about 11,000 were here Thursday night, and of course a lot of the talk locally was where's the support in the playoffs. Hawks lost, but tonight there is a sellout. This game is not being televised locally in the Atlanta area. We're talking about Danny Manning and the fact that he got a little bit of aggressive.
Well, look how hard he works for this basket. I mean, he posts up. We talked about him posting up more. Grant Long trying to root him off the block, and Danny with a spin
A little corkscrew shot between two players. Let's see if Miami responds now out of the 22nd timeout. Now back down 6 once again.
Now Bimbo Cole's being defended by Mookie Blaylock. Elo fell down. That's how Smith got the ball inside. Missed the lay in there, Sally. He had no chance to get a shot away.
You know what?
He was hit hard.
Manning's kicked out of the game. If they call it on Manning, isn't that too flagrant? Isn't he gone?
Kevin Willis being
Who they
pushed
call
away.
it on?
Let's let it settle down and we'll sort it out.
If they call that on Manning, he's out of the game.
No signal yet on what the call has been.
What's a flagrant foul? Who is it against?
Has not been signaled yet. The officials are huddling together.
Well, I want to see
it.
this replay. Let's see the replay, who this is going to be on. Let's watch Danny Manning. That should be on Danny Manning. Danny Manning should be out of the game.
They did call it on Manning.
Isn't he out of the game with 2? It's his second one. That's his second flagrant. He's got to be gone.
Kevin Lockery is arguing that point right now. John Sally shooting the free throws, and they have yet to send Danny Manning off the floor.
Well, unless I've got the rule wrong, two flagrant fouls, you're out of the game. Now, the first one was on Manning, I know. Now, who did they call that one on?
The signal was that it was on Danny Manning. We have not had any information from the officials on it, and Danny Manning is still on the floor. We are checking at the official scores table. Now Ronnie Cycli comes into the game.
We got to get this straight.
For John Sally.
Now, I thought they were ejected with 2 flagrants. I thought you get 2. I guess I'm wrong.
Well, you're wrong in the sense that Danny Manning is still on the floor. That was my understanding also. We'll get a check in a moment. Now the foul is on Danny Manning again. That will be his 4th personal foul.
I thought the rule was 2 flagrants and you're out of the game, because that's 2 unsportsmanlike plays.
We're talking to the special scores table right now. We'll clarify it in just a moment. Meanwhile, John Konkak is going to come into the game. They'll probably get Manning out of there with his 4 personal fouls would be my thought.
And you got to calm him down. He's lost his cool a little bit here.
Konkak, Willis, Mookie Blaylock, Farrell, and Elo will be on the floor for Atlanta.
I got to make sure I get my rules straight here, Bob. People are sitting at home, and I got to make sure I know what this is.
Grant Long missing the free throw. Willis the rebound. And the foul is going to be on Ronnie Cycli, and that's his 4th. That's the 9th foul that's been called in the last 3 minutes.
All right, Bob, I got the rules straight now from Rod Thorne, okay? 2 flagrant fouls, you are gone if they're technical. They weren't technical, so I did not know that technicality.
Always a loophole. Elo misses, Farrell rebounds, and the foul. Farrell will go to the line. Look at this.
I'm telling you, it's going to get ugly, guys.
Elo is on the floor, and Manning is off the bench. We have it going on right in front of our bench. There is a melee in the middle of the floor. The most significant thing thus far is Danny Manning came off the bench.
Look at Kevin Lockery. Boyle. Oh, man, somebody come in from behind and pop somebody. This is ugly, guys.
Doug Edwards, the Atlanta Hawks rookie, came off the bench. Alvin Gentry has Grant Long right in front of our table here trying to hold him back, and it is still not over here in Atlanta.
Now, I wanted to sort through all this, Bob.
Rod Thorne is here. We'll probably get a chance to ask him about it. Rod Thorne, the supervisor of officials, and it's a good thing he's in this building here tonight. Both benches cleared. They now do have everybody separated.
I'm going to tell you, it all started after Farrell made the score. He and Grant Long got up in each other's face, and Grant Long, Farrell said something to him, and then they would push each other.
And Alvin Gentry is right out here in front of our table. The assistant coach for Miami has injured his right hand because he was holding on to Grant Long. Alvin Gentry is having to be helped over to the side. He's the fellow there in the dark-colored suit. Gentry with his right arm being held gingerly. He was out trying to break this up. This looked much more like a hockey game than a basketball game there for a couple of minutes. At this point, I don't know if any players are hurt. And here's how it all started. Farrell was fouled after this miss by Elo.
Now watch Long takes a hard foul against him right here. He's going to come over and he's going to take a hard foul right there. All right, now watch Farrell come down and put his finger in his face. And then he tries to choke him, and that's where they start going right there. That's what the league. Remember we were on the conference call the other day. They talked about the taunting.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what happens, and that's where they got to stop it.
See, there's Danny Manning with his T-shirt on off the bench. Lockery wrestling him down.
I don't know how you can sort through this. You see Kevin Lockery trying to hold back Danny Manning. Grant Long. When it goes underneath the basket, somebody came in and popped somebody from behind. Watch somebody from behind right here. I think it's Keith Askins. That's Keith Askins right there. Boom, he hits Doug Edwards in the back of the head. Now Edwards is going to hit him. Look at it. Oh, he squared him off.
I'll tell you, those are two bigger punches than we saw in the Holyfield-Moorer fight the other night.
See, that's ugly, guys. I would say this is not basketball. This is not something to get excited about. The league's got to take a long look at this because the game is getting too rough. I'm telling you, Bob, too rough.
Officials trying to sort it out. There'll be a plethora of fines levied here, probably some suspensions.
But let me tell you something. It also starts with 2 flagrant fouls by Danny Manning in that one sequence. And I still don't know why. I know there was a technicality, but you could just sense it coming, boy. You could just sense everybody starting to get. Remember I said it about the 4-minute mark. I said the stakes are starting to get high. You said, and the collar's tighter.
Well, as we said, the supervisor officials, Rod Thorne's in the building. We'll try to sort this out with him because he is the man who will make the decisions. Ultimately, he won't have any definitive rulings to be made here tonight. But in the meantime, since the bench is both cleared, the officials are going to have to sort this out and decide what they'll do for the remainder of this game. Let me reset things here as the officials, Ed T. Rush, David Jones, and Ron Garrettson, are all talking at the official scorers table. The Hawks are leading 73-66. 2:34 to go in the quarter. It certainly did rile up the crowd. But I agree with you, Doug Collins. We need more skill and less willful violence on the basketball court.
We saw it in San Antonio, Utah today as the game started getting like that. And Bob, no one loves basketball more than me because it's a game of finesse and skill. And when you start pushing and shoving and grabbing and the game starts getting into the 80s and the 70s, and every time down the floor you got guys falling down, then it's going too far.
Askins is out. Grant Long has been ejected. Askins is out. Edwards is out. That's the list we have so far. Remember on our replay, following the hard foul, right in his face was Dwayne Farrell. Farrell's taunt caused Grant Long to grab him around the throat. That's what the officials saw, and Grant Long has been ejected from the game along with Doug Edwards and Keith Askins.
See, Askins came in and hit Edwards from behind, then Edwards turned around and punched him.
Well, the damage there definitely done to the Miami Heat. Long has been ejected. He had 10 points. He's a force inside defensively and rebounding-wise. And Farrell now gets to shoot his free throw finally. I wonder if he can make this after all of that melee. Yes. It's an 8-point Atlanta lead. And timeout on the floor.
Remember now, suspensions
by Miami.
Suspensions for the next game will be out also.
Everybody hates to eat and run. We'd rather take
to Ed T. Rush, the lead official here tonight, who came over to our table, and we'll try to get this sorted out a little bit better for you. It has certainly aroused the crowd here at the Omni. The Hawks are leading it by 8 with 2:34 to go. Once again, Grant Long has been ejected from the game, along with Keith Askins and Hawks rookie Doug Edwards. Atlanta went on a 7-1 run after Miami got the score down to 2 at 67-65. Well, it's certainly noisy in here. There are the ejections. The Grant Long ejection will definitely hurt the Miami Heat.
You know, Bob, I just got an explanation from Ed Rush, the official. I asked him about 2 flagrant fouls on Danny Mannings. He said you're only ejected on a flagrant 2. You're not ejected with 2, with 2 flagrant ones. I thought that if you got 2 points in a game like that you were automatically ejected. I was wrong, so I apologize to those people listening.
Well, the fact is, Danny Manning is still eligible to play, even though he's on the sideline right now. Another whistle. The officials will really be calling. You know, the officials started calling fouls to try to calm it down. They did see that coming, Doug.
Remember the one sequence, we could sense it coming, the one sequence where there was a flagrant and 3 fouls called on the one possession.
Glenn Rice had nowhere to go with it. It's out of bounds. Atlanta ball. Kevin Lockery couldn't believe that. By the way, the previous foul was on Mookie Blaylock. He picked up his 3rd. What a game. Blaylock being defended by Bimbo Coles. They have the mismatch on the switch. Contact will take the jumper. Hawks by 8, under 2 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Contact all over Bimbo Coles. That left Glenn Rice open. He missed the jumper. Cycling back. Knocked Contact down. Hawks come up with it. Farrell to Blaylock. Contact now is up and back into the offensive flow. Elo open for the long-range jumper. That was a 2. I'm surprised Ted didn't get out there.
Well, the scary part about it is when you get coaches and trainers trying to help break it up with those big guys. I've been there before.
Now they changed that shot by Elo to a 3. Farrell comes away with the ball. Farrell has played very big. 14 points. Has not missed from the line. Turned it over there. Here's Bimbo Coles. Has Contact and Blaylock. Contact stood his ground. Atlanta back. Under a minute to go. 3rd quarter. Blaylock will take the 3. Elo runs it down. Contact now back down on the offensive end.
You know what this game reminds me of? It reminds me of Game 2 of the World Championship when I played for the Sixers against the Portland Trail Blazers.
Craig Elo has heated up.
It was almost the same kind of thing broke out. And Portland responded and beat us 4 straight after that.
Well, Atlanta has responded at least in the short term in terms of scoring. It's 81-68. It was 67-65 before Atlanta started this run. John Sally dishes to Bimbo Coles, left alone for the jumper. It won't fall. Tip in Steve Smith. What a play. How'd you like to be the officials working this game? These are the strongest, quickest human beings on the planet.
And I saw the coaches coming off. You can't stop those guys. Once they start fighting, you can't stop them.
Alvin Gentry looked as though he sprained his right wrist, the assistant coach for Kevin Lockery.
I've been there before. I made a mistake of trying to keep Rick Mahorn. He threw me on the table twice. And I was stupid enough to keep coming back for more.
Stupid might not have been the call there. Craig Elo hard to the hoop. He's fouled hard. Minor hits the floor, and Elo will go to the line.
They're going to call flagrant here. They're going to call. Now they're going to be.
Yes, 2 and on the side. Look at Kevin Lockery. Look at his red Irish face. That was a flagrant.
Yes, it was. He hit him right upside the face.
Ronnie Cycli. His 5th foul, by the way. 6.6 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Remember I said early in the game, a couple times guys drove to the basket and there were bodies flying and there was no call. And I said, you know, that's the ones I'd like to see either a charge or a call or something because players get agitated. These guys now are going to see each other possibly 3 more times in the next week.
I want to see that.
If you think it's going to get any nicer between the two teams, you're wrong, because when you get close to elimination, then you start fighting for your life. Right now, Atlanta's fighting to stay alive in this series.
Contact with the jumper, trying to beat the buzzer. Blaylock throws it up before the buzzer. At the end of the third, Atlanta leads it 82-71. Craig Elo got 6 points in the final minute of the quarter. Well, it's certainly been exciting here. It got very ugly as 24 of the biggest humans on the planet got into it by 11 points. Keith Askins and Grant Long have been ejected from Miami. Doug Edwards for the Atlanta Hawks. And we were talking about Rod Thorne, the supervisor of officials of the NBA, was in the building here tonight. We were going to talk to him about this, but he got a videotape from our producer in the truck and has already headed back to New York to look at that tape where he will assess fines and possible suspensions, which could impact heavily on the continuation of this playoff series.
Bob, you know what? I don't like what I saw. I really don't. It really discourages me. I love basketball, and there's no place for that in the game.
And there you see Alvin Gentry, the assistant coach for Miami, injured his right hand and is in the locker room being attended to. He's in some pain. Atlanta 15-6 the last 4 minutes of that third quarter. Steve Smith beats Contact on the dribble and gets the jumper to go as Matt Geiger has entered the game for the Miami Heat. Full pressure now from Miami. Contact open for the Elo pass. Shot clock down to 14 as the Hawks start their offensive set.
We see Miami doing a little trapping, trying to make them use clock. Now the clock's working against them, so they have to get a shot up.
Elo steals a rebound and is fouled. He stepped in front of Harold Miner and stole the rebound. Craig Elo got really big after the fisticuffs and has 12 points in the game now. 4 fouls on Cole.
You see Contact's going to take the shot to beat the clock, and here comes Elo in with a nice offensive rebound. So Craig Elo has responded well to the altercation that we had here, and he has really come to life now for this team.
11-point Atlanta lead, trailing 1-0 in this Eastern Conference first-round playoff series. Miami stole the first game 93-88. John Sally draws the double team. Harold Miner on the drive. Over Farrell. Geiger missed the tip-in. Willis with the rebound. Baseball pass to Elo. That was something. What a game. The tension in here. You can cut with a dull knife.
Well, they can't say that the Atlanta fans didn't get into this tonight. Now, for the wrong reason, but...
this is reminiscent of the Atlanta Flames, the old hockey team. Lang threw up a brick.
See, off the ball, we had some more action here. It's going to be on Andrew Lang for pushing somebody off the ball.
And a technical foul has been called on Andrew Lang. Ed T. Rush very quickly on the whistle there. This got ugly with 2:34 to go in the third quarter when Farrell got fouled with Grant Long, said something to Long. Long tried to choke him, and then the fight broke out, and all 12 players from both teams and all the coaches got into a big melee right in the middle of the floor. It is apparent that none of the players were injured, even though Askins sucker punched Doug Edwards in the back of the head. Edwards then clobbered him with a right that would have made Evander Holyfield proud. Both got ejected. Miner dishes to Cole. He's fouled.
See, Andrew Lang's got to be careful now. He's losing his cool a little bit. He gets a technical foul, and now he's got a 2-shot foul here on Bimbo Coles. And remember, this has been a game, it's only a 10-point game with 10:17 to go. Miami came back down 8 with less time than this in game 1, so Atlanta's got to keep their concentration. Danny Manning has been on the bench an awfully long time. It's going to cool off over there. I'm surprised Lenny Wilkins doesn't come back with him real soon.
Bimbo Coles missed his first free throw. Miami has missed 11 free throws tonight.
And again, they're the #1 free throw shooting team in the NBA, so you put them up there at their 78% average instead of the 11 misses they have. It makes a big difference.
Elo was thinking about the three. He's being defended by Harold Miner now, looking for Kevin Willis on the screen and roll. Punched away. 10 to shoot for Atlanta. Open man Blaylock. Elo's going to try the three. Elo wanted that shot from the very beginning of that possession.
Well, we talked about the perimeter shooting was going to have to be better than Manning. There's another foul on Kevin Willis pushing Sally.
Kevin Willis picked up his 4th foul. We have a timeout on the floor with 9:48 to go. The Atlanta Hawks are up by 12 points.
A new wind is rising, bringing change, bringing the all-new Ford.
75 as in being punched in the Hawks. 38 to 28 in the paint, and the matchup between Sally and Willis. Willis has it on big numbers tonight. Sally held his own much better in game number 1, and the Hawks have a 12-point lead with 9:48 remaining in this game. I thought it was crazy at Madison Square Garden last night.
Well, I would have expected that between New York and New Jersey. I knew that this was going to be an intense game, that Atlanta was going to be, fighting for their playoff life. I guess they do realize how desperate this situation is for them to win tonight.
Danny Manning is back in. Bimbo Coles pulls up and shoots over Blaylock. Bimbo Coles really gives Mookie Blaylock fits. He has 11 off the bench. It's a 10-point Atlanta lead. Now it's Manning, Andrew Lang, Farrell, Elo, and Blaylock.
Now, see, Manning's got to score with this team that's on the floor right now. He took 1 shot in the 4th quarter in game 1. He's got to score with this group of guys.
There's the double team. Farrell in the paint. Farrell has 16, and Craig Elo has 15 off the bench for Atlanta.
I guess the perimeter shooting has come alive tonight.
That's what you said at the beginning. John Sally tries the big shot, and the foul is going to be called on Matt Geiger as Sally misses from long range.
Now, Matt Geiger's a very aggressive player, too. He came out of Georgia Tech, and everybody said this guy's a little soft. This guy is aggressive and tough. He will take hard fouls, so keep your eye on that matchup between Geiger and Andrew Lang.
Tech coach Bobby Crimmins here to watch 2 of his players, former players, Sally and Geiger. Andrew Lang is fouled as he tries to get the jump hook to go down. Well, it is certainly physical. I'll repeat to you once again in case you've dialed in late. At 2:34 to go in the 3rd quarter, Dwayne Farrell was fouled hard by Grant Long, and then Farrell said something to him. At that point, Long tried to choke Farrell. Every player on both teams broke into a fight out on the court. 3 players were ejected. Askin and Grant Long from Miami, and Doug Edwards, the rookie from Atlanta, who wasn't playing anyway. And Grant Long's absence is definitely hurting Miami, as Matt Geiger has had to come in, who's not used to playing at that power forward spot, and Atlanta has jumped out now to a 13-point advantage. Elo on Miner, trying to post up Steve Smith. Manning came over for the double team, left Geiger open. Lang got the block. Atlanta by 13. 10 to shoot for Atlanta. Manning being arm wrestled by Sally. Now he has the ball with 9. Trying to back in. The double team no look looking for Lang, and Lang never saw it coming.
He couldn't catch that with Velcro. I mean, there's no way. I mean,
you're absolutely right. That was a very errant bullet pass from Danny Manning.
Danny Manning's taken one field goal attempt in the 2nd half.
Incredible. Steve Smith, so tough one-on-one, and Lang fouls him, and that'll be 4 on Andrew Lang in not many more minutes as Cycli comes into the game, and Ronnie Cycli is carrying 5 fouls. Matt Geiger sits down for Miami. Plenty of time, 7:55 to go. Hawks by 13. The crowd kind of in a stunned silence at the moment, catching their breath.
I sort of feel the same way. I really do. That really took a lot out of me watching that.
You know, as a former player, you know how physical that is. It's one thing to watch on long distance on television.
Hey, let me tell you something. People have no idea how strong these guys are.
Elo trying to go one-on-one with Sally to pull up jumper. Not this time. Cycling lost it. No, he did not touch it. It's out of bounds off Atlanta, Miami ball.
You know, this is where Atlanta's got to be careful, okay? It's an 11-point game. Elo's feeling it a little bit, and they don't want to let Miami back into the game. They've made a little surge. They've given themselves a little distance here at 11 points. Now you've got to put them away.
Cole, good stutter step dribble, and he drains it. Bimbo Coles loves playing this Atlanta team.
Now it's down to 9, and you hear the crowd start getting a little restless.
He Blaylock from Elo. Blaylock on the penetration. Kicks it to Farrell. His jumper will go down. It's an 11-point game. And Dwayne Farrell has 18 in the second, third, and now the fourth quarters. Did not score in the first. Coles hard to the hoop again. Tip missed. Out of bounds. It'll belong to Miami. Grant Long's presence is missed.
Yes,
not just statistically, but his presence inside.
Well, you know, again, it goes back to, you know, you don't allow the taunting. There's no reason Grant Long and Farrell should have got involved. That you can't choke, you can't taunt, and it all led to that ugly situation that we had.
Headline news.
An improved perimeter shooting. Tonight they're shooting 49%, which will get it done. And Atlanta has 32 fast break points. I'll give them an A, and a B+ here. And as a result, they're sitting on an 11-point lead right now.
How did you score the fight?
Ugly and not necessary.
There you go. It was I would say, a decision for Atlanta because starter Grant Long got ejected.
Absolutely.
The lob into Minor, and Elo's going to be called for the foul for Atlanta, and that'll be his fourth. We have 6:59 remaining in this game. Hawks by 11.
See, Bob, the one thing, and I just don't want young kids out there to think that, you know, when they play in their games, that's the way they're supposed to react under those kind of conditions. This is the playoffs, and it's big money and all, but that's not the way you respond.
Harold Minor against Elo, trying to take him off the dribble, and that's an offensive foul.
Well, it's nice defensive play there by Elo. He got up underneath him. He squared him up. He tried to take him off the dribble, got his shoulders in on him, and the Harold Minor used a little right arm to push off on the spin.
I'm sure Atlanta thinking this clock is ticking very slowly with 6:43 to go in their 11-point lead. Miami got no quit in them. Manning is fouled by John Sally as he attempted the left-handed drive. That's 2 on John. Team foul situation, both with 4, so they'll go into the penalty on the next foul either team commits with 6:35 remaining in this game. So free throws are going to be definitely a factor as this game goes down to the wire. Can't get over again the stunned silence in this crowd since the fight. Into Manning. Pass to Farrell. He's in the paint behind the back. Big slam from Andrew Lang. Credit Manning and Farrell with the excellent ball movement.
See, Manning is creating a double team. He's doing a great job. He's found Farrell a couple times. That Farrell with a beautiful behind-the-back pass to Andrew Lang. So Farrell's playing a great ball game.
Rice can't control it. Atlanta ball, and it's about to get out of Miami's hands here. Hawks with a 13-point lead. Previously, their biggest lead was 14.
Well, Steve Smith is on the bench right now. You've got Bimbo Coles in the game along with Harold Minor, Glenn Rice, John Sally, and Ronnie Cycli.
If I coach Miami, I'm afraid I might play Steve Smith 48 minutes.
Yeah, there's a good indication that you might try to do that. It's tough to have him off the floor because he causes so many matchup problems for you.
Cycli against Lang. Threw it up off balance. Lang rebound. Manning goes down. He's all right. Back up now. Elo
use some clock here. You've got 18 seconds. Milk the clock. You've got a 13-point lead. Both teams are in the penalty. Get something going to the basket. What you don't want to do, though, is just fire up a shot to beat the clock.
There's the pass to Farrell. He traveled.
They're going to call a foul, I think.
But he traveled.
He did travel.
Now he's going to travel to the free throw line. Foul first, they say, on John Sally, his third.
So you use 24, you almost used about 20 seconds on the shot clock. I've got a chance now to go to the line, push this lead up to 15. And I would say, about the 3-minute mark, if Miami has not made a dent in this lead, I think that you're going to see Kevin Lockery pull the plug on tonight's game.
Get ready to fight the next battle while he still has some players in the game. Steve Smith's back in. Farrell now with 19 points, 7 out of 7 from the line. And coming up right after this one, in case this isn't enough excitement for you, Denver and Seattle at Seattle. Seattle leads that series 1-0. Gary Bender, Jack Gibbon will referee that contest.
Well, you know, the thing you're thinking about if you're Kevin Lockery right now also is you're worried is Grant Long going to be suspended for your first home game? Because if he is, you miss your starting power forward. And when he is out, they miss so many things that he brings. He did not start this year. He had an injury, and they struggled without him being on the team and on the floor.
Dwayne Farrell, also a Georgia Tech product, making Bobby Crimmins proud here tonight. Kevin Willis on the bench. Dwayne Farrell has been the man here late. 20 points.
Two years ago, I blew out my Achilles. I said I'd be back. Everyone else said I was finished. All I gotta say is, step under this. And we'll see who's finished.
Only the love can make you a player. You got the love?
Stripping old. Farrell rebound. He's fouled hard by Long. Taunts him. Long tries to choke him. The fight breaks out. All 12 players from both squads get onto the floor. This fight resulted in 3 ejections. Askins and Long for Miami, and rookie Doug Edwards for the Atlanta Hawks. This was really scary. Now watch up in the upper right of your screen. You'll see Keith Askins come off the bench, and there hit Doug Edwards in the back, and Edwards with a cross to the right side. And the other punches thrown, you saw 2 of them. Edwards and Askins were ejected, as was Grant Long. After that, Atlanta has gone on a scoring bench, and you see Alvin Gentry, the assistant coach for the Miami Heat, who had to leave the floor. He injured his right wrist when you saw him thrown down there. We are back to live action. That was ugly.
I'm glad no fans came out on the floor. That's a scary thing, too. They got down in the end zone. That's when you really start to worry if people get involved out of the stands.
Atlanta leading it by 15 now with 4:51 to go. And they're going to run a little bit of clock. Danny Manning out at the top of the key. Mookie Blaylock takes it inside the paint. His turnaround jumper didn't fall. I think Bimbo Coles may have gotten a piece of that. Atlanta by 15.
They're going to try one more little spurt here, and if they don't get it, you'll probably see the substitutions come in. We're about 4.5 minutes to go.
That's a 2 by Minor. If it goes down, rebound Manning. Minor stepped on the line. As you saw, Miami spotting up for 3s all the way around the circle.
They got 5 guards in the game. Look at it. They got Steve Smith, Rice, Minor, Brian Shaw, and Bimbo Cole. So basically 5 guards, and Atlanta's matched it with 4 guards and Danny Manning.
Well, at least they don't have the heavyweights in. Something breaks out here, it'll be more of a middleweight fight. Miami only 3 of 12 for their field goals in the 4th quarter. We mentioned earlier, the Miami Heat has a tendency when they go south to shoot themselves out of a game.
I think that a lot was lost emotionally for them also too. In that altercation, you're on the road.
Right.
This is the Atlanta home crowd. You lose Grant Long. Atlanta really responded, especially Greg Elo after that. He made some big shots.
Bimbo Coles trying to get that shot up. Farrell has done it all. What's left enough for him tonight. He got the block. He has a career playoff high of 20 points.
Here's where you want to use some clock once again. Spread the floor. They have no shot blockers in the game. Spread the floor, drive it, kick out to somebody for a shot as the clock winds down.
Down to 9. Elo from long range. Not this time. A rebound. Harold Miner. 3:40 to go in the game. Shaw will take the long-range three. Ogman with the rebound. To Elo, and it's across the timeline. Danny Manning to Farrell. He's fouled and will go to the free throw line again, where Dwayne Farrell has made a living tonight. Dwayne is 8 for 8.
I think you're going to see, excuse me, Bob, you're going to see Enos Wadley come in now and get Mookie Blaylock.
Blaylock has not scored since midway through the third quarter. He has 8 points, but Blaylock has played a very tough defensive game tonight and a good leadership game, particularly after the big melee.
Bob, there's been 52 personal fouls called in this game tonight. Now, I don't know if that probably doesn't count the flagrants. We know there was 2 on Manning. We had probably 1 on Grant Long.
There's the Miami bench, and you'll notice 3 empty seats there. Those would belong to, actually, 2, Askins and Grant Long. Actually,
and
one
Alvin
more
Gentry.
to the assistant coach, Alvin Gentry.
I hope he didn't break his hand.
Alvin Gentry, a fine young coach for Kevin Lockery, who came out here and stood up big.
And you know what he was trying to do? He was trying so hard to keep Grant Long from getting back into it, and Grant Long was just throwing him off of him. He flipped him. You can see it in the one picture. I'm a little surprised with 3 minutes to go in the game and a 18-point game that you still got Steve Smith and Glenn Rice and these guys in the ball game right now.
Absolutely, because they're not getting it done either, and all they're getting is tired. Atlanta's got this one with 3 minutes to go. Manning is fouled. Oh, my, on Tuesday night in Miami. This series will be tied at 1 game apiece.
Is that game going to be on TNT? Do we have that game yet or not?
There's a decision to be made about that.
I think probably the decision has been made now. That
I guess we may, if they ask us. Cleveland, Chicago will be playing at that time, too. And the Chicago Bulls leading that series 1 game to none at this point. Danny Manning from the free throw line. Well, it'll be interesting to see after you get, here come the substitutions now. Steve Smith goes out and Glenn Rice is going to go out, and the substitutions get into the ballgame. Be interesting to see after you get through the fine suspensions and whatever happens there, which is one part. The second part is what will this do to each team? Will it build Atlanta unity and bonding and confidence? Will it do the same for Miami? Who will come out of this with any kind of advantage in terms of winning this playoff series?
Well, I think that Atlanta really came together during that situation, but I think Miami's a together team already. So, you know, they're going home. So you expect them to be emotional. So they're going to come out in the first 6 minutes of that game, and Atlanta's going to have to withstand a real emotional rush. They're going to probably be knocked back on their heels a little bit, and they're going to have to withstand that early flurry. But I think that Atlanta probably emotionally became more prepared for the playoffs after what happened tonight. I don't agree with what happened, but I sense the energy and emotion really came up in them tonight.
Atlanta gets the timeout. It's a 20 for Atlanta. And by the way, we're on a foul watch now. We are foul. We're in a foul mood. Hope nobody comes over here to try to mess with us at the table, because you and I don't want any
Bob,
part of that.
let me say something. When all those guys came running over, I'm saying, just don't come over to the scores table. I don't want any part of this.
By the way, we're talking about the fouls. 52 have been called in this game. In case you wonder what the playoff record is, Chuck Gardner, who's always on top of this, knows. The most called ever in a playoff game, 55. Syracuse at Boston, that's not a surprise, in 1953, and that took 4 overtimes.
So we're 3 away
from exactly 20 more minutes. We have 2:41 here. 3 more fouls, they'll tie it.
Oh, that's a cakewalk, because normally in a game like this with an 18-point lead or 20-point lead, the referees won't blow any fouls at the end, but you have to because of all that's happened. So this game will be whistled right to the finish.
10 to shoot for Atlanta. 2:36 to go in the game.
Is this Adam Keefe's first appearance tonight? I
Yes,
think
it is.
And he played big minutes the other night. In fact, he played in the critical stages of the 4th period.
Watley misses from very long range. Miami has been held scoreless in 5 minutes.
Adam Keefe played 15 minutes the other night.
Former slam dunk champion Harold Miner getting some garbage points here. 101-83. Atlanta has this one with 2:13 remaining. It was 67-65 Atlanta with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Then about a minute and a half later is when the foul came on Dwayne Farrell. The fight started, and since then it's been all Hawks.
It all started on the one sequence where Danny Manning got his second flagrant foul. Willis got a foul, and Elo got a foul. I think there were 3 fouls in one possession and a flagrant. That's when it started getting ugly. And I'm going to make my lobby right now to the Rules Competition Committee that 2 flagrant fouls, whether flagrant 1 or 2, if you get 2 flagrant fouls in a game, you're thrown out. Now, I know the Atlanta fans don't want to hear that, but 2 flagrant fouls, you get 2 technicals, 2 flagrants, you should be thrown too.
Well, they're in terms of physical violence, they're definitively bigger than technicals.
No question.
Technicals can be, you can have 2 technicals for verbal.
And again, I apologize to the fans if I misled them when Danny Manning did get his second flagrant. I thought that was an ejection.
8 seconds to shoot. Adam Keith comes away with the ball for Atlanta. Minute 44 to go. 53 on the foul watch now, 2 away from tying the record. It's not much fun being on a foul watch. This game's almost as long as a football game.
The stadium show.
And rougher on the stadium show. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know you're a regular watcher. Geiger tries the hard slam, and Lang was there to meet him.
See, now, normally, you're in a regular season game, there's 20-point lead, a minute 20 to go. You don't challenge that dunk. But in the playoffs, you challenge everything. You don't want Geiger to get a dunk. You're going to make him make 2 free throws. That's why you got to keep blowing the whistle.
Atlanta by 20, 103-83. .124 to go in this ball game. Geiger with a free throw, and it is all over except the foul watch.
Atlanta finally reached that magical 100-point barrier. They had 88 and 89 the last 2 games against Miami. And on the season, when they score 100-plus points, they're 42-3.
Lang had it stripped from him. Watley fell down trying to catch Harold Miner. He's got a floor burn. I think he's all right, but that sure does sting, you know very well.
Looked like he got hit in the throat, too. You see him, he's trying to get his breath. He says, Coach, this is garbage time. I don't need a floor burn and my throat ripped out.
This game needs a cut man. Ogman's turnaround jumper doesn't go, and we mercifully have 45 seconds left. Coming up right after this, Seattle and Denver. Geiger hard to the rim, didn't get it to go down, and there's going to be a foul called on Willie Burton. And our Budweiser player of the game, a unanimous selection here at the table, is Dwayne Farrell. Playoff career high, 23 points. Check that, it's 23, not 22. And 11 of 12 from the free throw line. He also had a couple of big blocks and kept tremendous poise during that Hawks run after the fight.
And he was involved, obviously, in the critical play there when he scored, and Grant Long fouled him hard. Farrell did his taunting, then the choking by Grant Long, and then everything broke loose.
Blaylock, Concac. There's Danny Manning on the Atlanta bench, and Kevin Willis. Kevin Willis hasn't been in the game for quite a while, and it's a little bit of extra rest that'll be gathered for some Atlanta starters here as they get the 18-point lead.
Well, we need one more foul to witness history here, right? We're at a tie at 55, are we?
I'll double check. I think we're at 53. Nevertheless, we're not going to get the record with only 17 seconds left. The Hawks will have to shoot. There's a 5-second differential. The fans on their feet applauding for them as Farrell misses from the long range mark. And this game is going to be over. 104-86. Atlanta by 18 points. It was a melee at the Omni in Atlanta.
And remember, you're playing for Bud Light, ladies. The boys are back in town.
These guys are good. Who are you calling guys? Yeah.
Looks like you're in the finals. Ma'am?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
You're the defending ladies pool champion?
Yes, I am.
Doctor, this is Bob Neal saying good night from the Omni in Atlanta.
An all-day rally. I'll be joined